Hi, it's Matt from DPO24.com, and today I'm going to talk to you a bit about how to deal with call centers and the things you should be aware of as a business, especially if you give it to other people to do for you. We don't outsource stuff to other people. We do get people ask us for campaigns, and what we've actually done is actually stopped working with call centers out of Cebu. The reason being is that we have certain clients which don't care where their leads go, but we actually do because we get affected by bad call centers, not only because they're working via us, but also because in the industry it has a knock-on effect negatively for everybody. So this is why we've taken a step away from working with call centers out of Cebu. We do have two business partners that we work with within Cebu, but most of this work is stuff that we proactively work as a group. They're not small contracts, and also for example, one of the main clients has another 12 call centers already in Cebu operating on the same campaign. And we just share our experiences and knowledge, etc., etc. But where this goes wrong is when you have brokers and sub-dealers who are primarily lying all the way through. A prime example of this was a guy that got in touch with us at the start of this year who told us that he was an American, worked for Barango Solar, and he basically was a Pakistani living in Pakistan, and everything he was telling us was all fabricated lies. But also from the Barango perspective, Barango, for whatever reason, worked with him. Now, he does tell them that, I mean, if you look him up, you'd actually find that this guy says he has a call center in Canada and Virginia. He has neither. All his background information doesn't even fit together properly. His years are wrong for school, for example. But the issue with that was when we started, our rates were only about $35 per lead, which is extremely low for solar. But when we were starting, we were a new call center, and we were moving into new work. So we wanted to focus on the development of staff. So we would take a small contract just to see how it worked and develop with it. But what we found is that at 35 on solar, that is the absolute minimum. We made a small profit every week, but it was nothing what I would consider of value to a business. People working at home, it may be worth their while, but even so, there'd have to be in the Philippines or somewhere else because the profit margin is so minimal. But also from our perspective, over time, we've actually worked our way up the ladder by direct contact and doing things like these YouTube videos to actually explain, well, we do most of the work anyway, so why don't you come to us direct? Because I want rid of these brokers. I think they're just parasites, and I think they do bad business for you and for me. We're currently around anywhere between 80 plus for lead generation, $80 plus. But these guys, what they do is they'll contact you directly, say, hey, I've got a call center, I've got this really great business, I'm running like 100 seats, 500 seats, whatever crap they come out with, and people get duped. They think, okay, this seems okay, I'll run with them. And what they do is they then sub-source it. So say you're offer for appointment setting, for example. Appointment setting, you book it out at $150 per appointment. You think, okay, well that's fair, I'm paying the going rate, I'm paying a reasonable rate for appointment setting, and they then sublet it out for $80, which I know one of them does. A Pakistani guy does this. Now the next level from that is he has other call centers he works with who then sublet it from him, and it ends up going down to about $45. Now, the first thing and you're unlikely to see any of this because you've just given it to this broker you really trust because the guy told you he had all this stuff, and the reality is he has nothing. He's just working from his bedroom even. But what happens is you're thinking all those leads coming through to you are worth $150. They're a premium lead. That's what you're paying for. That's what you want. But the reality is you're really getting $45 leads. You'll think, well, what's the difference? Well, the difference is from a call center perspective. If I got 200 leads this week for solar, and you have very strict requirements, maybe only 30 of those fit into your strict requirements. But if the other 170, they meet the criteria, but they're not interested, then you're going to be getting 200 leads, and you're going to spend most of your time filtering out a lot of leads that are not going to convert to sale. What's the point? Well, do you know what the point is here? The fact is, you shouldn't be paying 150 if that's what you're getting. If you're getting that sort of quality, I recommend going to live transfers because you're going to have to filter out all the calls anyway. So, I mean, on a live transfer, you're going to go yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, but you're going to get through a lot of calls very fast because they're coming through. But at the same time, why should you be paying $150 for leads which are only worth $35, $45? At the same time, if it's good leads, say they're above $170 a month electric bill, then you should be looking at about $70, $80 a lead. But like I'm saying, what you need is to have a focus on for live transfer, not appointment setting, because your appointments, you're going to find a lot of them are actually useless. You're going to lose 2/3 of them because they're not at the same quality and value. Because from a call center point of view, if you're getting $45 a lead, it's volume. It's not quality. And this is where people from the West get confused on what's happening with the BPO industry. Because the fact is, you need to remove these brokers. These brokers are just parasites which are driving down the price for the BPO industry, at the same time charging you a premium for a service that you're expecting. But you're not going to get delivered because they're taking at least 50% of the money. Now, the way to stop that is to deal with companies like ours, which is direct. There's no middleman. There's no ifs or buts. You're actually dealing with myself and my company. You're not dealing with me and 50 call centers that I just sub all the work to and sit on my ass. We actually develop the business with you. So this is something that you need to be aware of that goes on in the industry. Because it's not a small problem, it's a major one. Because the next stage from that is when these dialing lists that a broker has, he gives to every call center. He doesn't care who gets the leads. He's not investing time and money in those leads. He's not filtering out the different zip codes to make sure you don't dial the same place within a month. He is just sending out the leads to absolutely everyone, randomly. Now, the problem with that is, as I've known with Varango, you could call somewhere and it's been dialed 5 times that day already for Varango. Because people that are giving out those leads are giving them to all the call centers, and the first thing they do is they start at the zip codes where are most valuable. But at the same time, it's the same starting point for most people. We work a little bit different with something like that. We actually start at the last good zip code and then work backwards because most people work in numerical order. But at the same time, that should never be happening. You should know where your leads are being dialed, who dialed them, and when. Because you do not want to get saturation. You don't want to be on the local news for being the company that's harassing people non-stop 24/7. You want to be the company that works smarter, and also works in a way that develops your call center outsource partner with your business. Because if they develop, you develop. If everything's in-house here, you don't have to worry about 10 Indian call centers dialing on top, because there isn't any. You're only working with BPO24hour.com. In the same way, if you wanted more call centers, we have dialing partners in Cebu City that have a very, very close relationship with BPO24hour.com. We know we work with their management. We work with the owners. We're very, very tight with them. We have a very close relationship. But at the same time, if you wanted to do that, I would actually put you in touch with the owners. I wouldn't go, oh, well, I don't really want you getting in touch with the people I know in case you decide to go direct. Because the fact is, we work as a team here anyway. We're not taking all the work for ourselves. The fact is, we want to make the business work. And the best way to do that is to work proactively with clients. Now, our lead generation for our dialing list, we generate ourselves any way required. We have the full DNC federal list. We have access to data, which makes it very easy to dial constructively. At the same time, we also monitor when we dialed locations on a regular basis so that we know we dialed there last month. We know we dialed there 6 weeks ago. We know we shouldn't dial there for at least another 2 months. These things are things we actually closely monitor because we are aware these are the things that are important to customers. They don't want the calls 24/7. This is what results in the DNC developing. This is what results on cheap outsourcing to India, Pakistan, whatever, where they've turned around and companies have just said, you know what, give them everything. They broker it out, do whatever they do just to get the sales. Well, the problem with that is this is why things are getting so tight in the telesales and telemarketing industry. Yes, it's still a multi-billion-dollar industry, but at the same time, if you're proactively working smarter, you'll actually get a better sale rate, but also working directly with a company, you can actually help it develop. If you're dealing with me directly, with your company, and you're saying, Matt, those sales leads were okay last month, but ideally I want to move further north because there's so much saturation of other companies already dialing there, and we've dialed there already, then we can do that. In the same way, if you turn around and say, okay, Matt, we're doing well on the solar, but really we've got some guys that are spare for our Windows and Conservatory business. Can we focus a bit more on home improvement this month? The fact is, we can do that because you're working with me. You're working together. We're working as a partnership. You're not going, hey, broker, can you deliver this? And they go, yes, 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 and they don't pass it down the line. Because if you have like 20 call centers globally, the only thing that you're going to hear is calls coming in, and good and bad. Because what happens is the first thing you got a problem where there's misunderstandings between what you tell your broker and then the broker tells other people. The next thing is you got the problems where people don't tell you when they've done something they shouldn't. Because if you have an incoming call and somebody's really irate on the phone and you really want to know what happened, why is this guy going to sue me? How are you going to do that if you have no idea who called that number? Because the first thing the call center that did that call is going to do is deny all knowledge of the call because they know you have 20 call centers dialing you and it's not even direct. You have no control over where they dial because, for me, I know which zip codes I dial, but also if I've got guys dialing in Cebu City for me as part of the same team, which we agree with the companies we work with, they have allocated zip codes. They're the only people that can dial them. So there's lots of stuff I know brokers don't do, and it's primarily they are killing the market in a negative way because their focus is only cash in their pocket. Now, you're already paying a premium, but why do you want to pay it to them? For example, if I take clean energy experts, so solar, I call it a solar lead distributor. Do you know they outsource all their work? I mean, they don't even have a call center. They Skype call their incoming calls. I mean, that's pretty cheap. You know, okay, I have a Skype number. I receive my Skype call, but all my other business is actually on a PBX system. It's a proper telephone exchange. Okay, it's a virtual one, you know, because everyone's onto VisiDial and the other dialing systems, but energy experts don't even have that. But on top of that, it's people like me that do all the work. And I know you're paying a premium. I know how much you're paying for shared leads. And I could match it for leads that you're paying, which are dedicated to you. In the same way, I know another company, I think they're called Matrix now, that they're charging $250 a lead for a premium lead. Now, you could get those same leads from us for about $125. Because the reason why it's a bit more expensive is because they are a bit more strict on what the criteria is. Because most of these lead generation companies, what they're doing is selling you interest. Now, the interest may not be that they're interested in solar. The interest is being that they qualify. Now, as a lead generation company, we can do that. We can do that very cheap. But at the same time, if you actually want quality leads where they actually do want you to book an appointment for next Wednesday, those come in as appointment setting rates, not just lead generation. But this is slightly getting off tangent now. But the whole point is I just want to explain to you why I think brokers are bad news for the business. I mean, people like me are easy to contact direct. And as you can see, I can even Skype call you and you can see it's me. I get really irritated by the fake people in the business. And I have to admit, Pakistan and India are the worst culprits. But they were in the BPO industry first, so it's no surprise that they know how to manipulate it for their own benefit. But let's work smarter. Let's work with people that actually not only care about business and sales, but also in making sure that our businesses are going to stay afloat and not sued by everybody. That's Matt signing off. Okay, if you want to drop me an email, by the way, you can at Matt. That's MATT _Wilkie @hotmail.co.uk. Recently, I've got problems with my mail server. I'm currently going to move my web host again, third time in as many years. But if you want to talk about business or open up contracts, please feel free to get in touch. Okay, thank you.